interest in the waterfront. I'm president of a small nonprofit that takes care of historic vessels, and we actually have two that are currently located at Penn's Landing. Curious about the vision for their incorporation in the plan.
What did you think?
Otherwise, the plan's neat. If it happens in a timely fashion, it'll be very productive for the community.
Is the plan that you saw today what you were hoping to see when you came?
It certainly has aspects of green space along the waterfront. It'll be interesting to see how the port integrates with the plan and how well the politics of the city either inhibit or support the plan.
Very carefully crafted, very logical, and very inventive in its reapplication of very fundamental ideas to an existing problem. The problem has been there for a long time, and people have been, I think, staggered by the magnitude of it. And by separating the components, it seems that the group at PennPRAXIS that put this together has found a way to disentangle the many competing ideas and have brought in not only a resolution of many of the competing ideas, but new solutions, new ways to handle.
I was really impressed with the presentation. I'm in a class studying community development best practices for getting community members engaged in a big development process, and it almost seemed like this was textbook like best practices from so many levels of getting different voices. So I was really impressed with that.
I have a few questions that would have to be ironed out as to a little bit more specific as far as what actually is going to be in the at street level. For example, I'm a bit concerned about the underuse of Penn's Landing. A park is nice, but how about a new cultural center in that area? In addition to that, and something more than just concrete to sit on. It's a place, it's been a gathering place for international festivals for years. I'd like to see that continue and not just turned into one big park. But overall, the other thing is the crime element. A lot of it's been made to have a lot of trails, and you can have a lot of trails, but people aren't going to go with them if they're attacked at night. So you'd have to have, now you're talking about police on skates going up and down the trails. You're talking about some kind of new kind of transit to people movers, like in Atlantic City, where they have people, a little personal transit, rolling chairs up and down the boardwalk, and you'd have to come up with that to keep the area with people, focus on people going up and down it so they don't feel frightened because there's nobody on it at certain times. So there's a reality component that's not completely there.
You know, I liked it. I mean, they dealt with a lot of the things that we dealt with in waterfront planning in New York when I was in graduate school, and they kind of came up with a similar solution, which was try to incorporate a lot of different things. That is, try not to make the entire thing a park, try not to make the whole thing industrial, try not to make it all residential. And you can say that's a hodgepodge. I mean, that's the problem, that if it comes across as a hodgepodge, it looks disorganized, but it looks like they've laid it out in such a way that everything seems to flow and connect. I thought the biggest thing was going to be the Interstate 95 problem, but I just have to say that in other cities, the interstates were a lot closer. Like the West Side Highway in New York was right next to the water, whereas in a lot of places in Philadelphia, 95 is back a little bit. The only real problem seems to be right there at Market Street, right there at Center City, where they do bridge it over two places. I think it's an advantage. I don't think that in most places they're going to have to bridge over 95 because it's tremendously expensive. I just came back from Boston, and they're still working on the problems of the Big Dig. A piece of the tunnel fell on a woman's car when I was there, so there's a lot of liability and danger and all that kind of stuff in it. But it looks like a good plan.
It's going to be wonderful to watch. I hope I live to see at least half of it. It'll take a long time, I think.